Even with billions to spare, nobody enjoys losing money. The possibility of a bear market, which is defined as an extended decline in stock values of at least 20% over 2 months or longer, is what causes even the world's wealthiest investors to lose sleep at night. Let's see what makes them so pessimistic about the global economy in 2024. The current geopolitical tensions, a soaring US budget deficit, and high interest rates, according to the top executives of major Wall Street banks and global investment managers with trillions of dollars under management, might further damage the already flagging global economy. Bridgewater Associates LP founder Ray Dalio said he is pessimistic about the global economy next year in comments echoed by Citigroup Incorporation's Chief Executive Officer Jane Fraser at the latest edition of the Future Investment Initiative Summit in Riyadh. If you take the time horizon, the monetary policies that we are going to see will have greater effects on the world. It's difficult to be optimistic about that, Dalio said. The upcoming US elections will be about irreconcilable differences to do with wealth and power, he added. He declared, "We will be in good shape if we can maintain the peace and if we can have a wealthy, competitive environment without having a war with each other." The global economy, already impacted by persistent inflation and high borrowing rates, is facing additional uncertainty as a result of the Israel-Gaza war, which has escalated into a significant humanitarian disaster. The CEO of Citigroup, Jane Fraser, stated that given the current situation, it was hard not to be pessimistic. It's extremely depressing given the context of the events that have transpired since the terrorist attack in Israel and its aftermath, Mr. Fraser remarked. The head of the BlackRock, the biggest asset management in the world, Larry Fink, predicted that interest rates will remain high and that there won't be a hard or soft landing for the US economy in 2019. Ms. Fink declared, "The amount of fiscal stimulus that is just entering the economy is very inflationary. The amount borrowed by the federal government of the United States to pay for its operational costs is known as the national debt, and it reached $33.04 trillion last month." Jerome Powell, the chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve, said this week that the bank may raise interest rates in the future if officials continue to observe robust economic growth, but they are likely to keep them unchanged at their meeting in November. To prevent price increases from sending the economy into recession, the Fed has raised interest rates 11 times to where they currently stand at 5.25 to 5.5%. David Solomon, chairman and CEO of Goldman Sachs, expressed his uncertainty regarding the M&A market at the moment, although he anticipates that activity would increase in step with economic expansion. In order to effectively compete, people must move forward and continuous consolidation and scaling as the environment becomes more certain, Mr. Solomon stated. According to him, efforts to revive growth through fiscal stimulus drove the post-coronavirus spike in M&A activity. Europe, which was severely impacted by Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year, would likely have difficulties with medium and short-term development, according to HSBC CEO Noel Quinn. While a second wave of inflation is possible, Europe will manage its inflation. In Europe, and especially in the UK, wage inflation is still out of control, he claimed. According to him, China, the second biggest economy in the world, is under pressure in the near future as a result of its stimulus-related economic correction. I'm still very optimistic about the growth opportunities in China in the medium term. Interest rates that stay higher for longer almost certainly means a stronger dollar for longer, according to Standard Chartered CEO Bill Winters, which is not good news for borrowers and the direction of the economy. In a separate panel discussion, he informed the F2 delegates that combination of higher interest rates and a stronger dollar is very tough for any non-US economy or country that has borrowed in US dollars. A few nations have already restructured their debt, and there are still a few that have been battling it gallantly. But as time passes, the pressure increases. Because it is trying to depress economic activity in order to bring inflation down, so inevitably we are going to have a slower economic downturn in the US. The Fed is maintaining high interest rates. Let's just hope, and I believe there is a good case to be made, that China will be resurfacing as a growth engine at the moment, to somewhat counteract the inescapable slowdown in the US and Europe, according to Mr. Winters. According to him, it would be extremely difficult to reduce inflation to the Fed's target range of 2%, and the regulator would then need to decide if it was worthwhile to slow down the economy. He answered, You have to consider expense. What will need to happen for the percentage to drop from 2.5% to 2%? Is it necessary to create a recession? It might not be worth the effort. In order to mitigate the risk, billionaires worldwide like Ray Dalio employ a range of techniques and approaches to safeguard their fortune, such as assembling their portfolios with particular asset allocations that can mitigate the impact of a protracted market decline. Let's see some top investment tips for the 2024 recession from billionaire investor Ray Dalio. Over 47 years, Ray Dalio, a global macro investor for over 50 years, built Bridgewater Associates from two-bedroom apartment in New York City. At the largest hedge fund globally, it is now ranked as the fifth most significant private company in the United States by Fortune magazine. Uncorrelated assets are, despite their technical name, just investments that do not move up or down in tandem with the other asset classes in the portfolio. When market sentiment shifts, a small allocation to these uncorrelated assets might help preserve a portfolio's value. Which asset classes are appropriate for this kind of use? Although alternatives to standard equities and bonds such as cash, real estate, and commodities might add to a more diversified portfolio, gold is widely regarded as the undisputed king of uncorrelated assets. Due to its historical volatility, the price of yellow metal frequently rises even during weak markets. The price of gold typically does not fluctuate in tandem with the overall stock market. The following are a few of the factors that lead billionaires to allocate funds in gold. For thousands of years, gold has served as a store of wealth. A portfolio's volatility can be reduced by gold. In certain situations, gold can serve as a hedge against inflation when the market goes awry. Investors traditionally turn gold as a haven asset. Along with earlier proponents like Ray Dalio, David Einhorn, John Paulson, and John Tudor Jones II, a new billionaire joined the gold bandwagon to start 2019. The most recent member of the group is real estate investment trust pioneer Sam Zell. When he first purchased gold in January, he did so on the grounds that it was a gold hedge and that the supply is shrinking due to decline in new mining discoveries. It will be interesting to see how many more of the world's elite investors join the bandwagon now that market volatility is back in the picture. The Fed's relentless rate hikes severely cloud the stock market. Ray Dalio, the creator of Bridgewater Associates, the largest hedge fund in the world, is one of the experts raising the alarm. In a June LinkedIn post, Dalio issued a warning that the Fed's tightening policies may cause stagflation, an economic situation in which there is high inflation but not the strong economic growth and employment that typically accompany it. Over time, the Fed will probably map out a moderate path that results in stagflation. Additionally, Greg Jensen, co-chief investment officer at Bridgewater, started to Bloomberg earlier this week that the Fed's aggressive position hasn't yet been fully priced in. Let's assume asset markets decline at a rate of roughly 20% to 25% overall, he forecasts. Here are some of the largest assets as at Dalio's hedge fund in case you are unsure of what to do in light of this dire forecast. If you are considering hiding your excess cash beneath the mattress, reconsider. In a recent CNBC interview, Ray Dalio, the founder of Bridgewater Associates, the largest hedge fund in the world, stated, "Cash is not a safe place to invest. It will be taxed by inflation." The U.S. Consumer Price Index increased by 8.5% in July 2022 compared to the previous year, and is currently close to 40-year highs. However, other analysts think that the number, which is decades high, is still being underreported. In either case, the purchasing power of consumers is significantly reduced. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, don't forget to hit that like button below. And if you want to stay updated with more great content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking the red button and ringing the notification bell so you never miss any future content from us. Your support means the world to us.